Do you remember that, Marvin?
They were big.
Yes, yes.
Which company carried this?
Motorola.
Or Motorola?
Yeah.
I don't know if other companies, but
AT&T, they had it.
Okay,
They were
yeah.
AT&T.
But they were big and they must
Yeah.
have weighed.
I remember like maybe in the 90s in Jamaica we had some cell phones. They weren't as big as you're saying. They're maybe about 8 inches tall. We used to call them truck catch because they were so big.
Like about big as the
Or
thing.
like the remote here.
Yes.
Maybe about this size. Okay. And from, as you said, the cell phone started coming in. So
The cell phone, yes, started. So I only work up in the church. I just worked there 2 years, and because they were making changes. Then I worked in the garment district, which they don't have anymore.
And where was the garment district?
On 7th Avenue. And
Oh, so what did they do there?
I worked, they made everything, made clothes, but I was a telephone operator in that
Or still
company.
the operator. So working there, did you say I like that and like that to get clothes there too? Or that didn't work with them?
No, they didn't make clothes.
Oh, just
Just-
materials to
they
make
just
the
make-
clothes.
That's why they were material makers.
And how much did you get paid there? Did you get more than the first job?
Oh yes, because things started to, and I got a lot of material too.
Oh,
Up to the other day, I was still giving away material.
I bet those
Your mother got.
materials were really good.
Your mother
Wait a minute. We're talking about 2024. You were still giving away material.
From
Because I had a lot.
1960s.
Yeah, I had a lot of material because
You had a lot of material, yeah.
some they make it first as a display to show, and so, and then I had friends in the. I always have friends.
In high places.
Not in material places.
That's right, and they say, oh, and I go in and say, oh, that's nice. Oh, it's a new fabric. You want a piece?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay,
So-
great.
So, like when you get those materials back then, you would get a dressmaker or a seamstress to
I
make, like,
used to make them myself.
you make them yourself.
I used to sew.
I had no idea
I
you
love sew.
used to sew.
I love to sew.
Okay.
I still have my sewing machine downstairs.
And then after the garment industry, where did you go from there?
Where I am now.
So you took
I
early
was there.
retirement.
Yeah, I was there for how many years? Oh Lord, I forgot. I was there for quite a few years. 20 years?
Do you remember
21
when you
years?
left? Do you remember the year that you left?
I had to leave because I couldn't walk.
Okay, okay.
Because that's when I got my leg.
Oh.
And then too, everything started changing. They took everything to China because it was cheaper to make it over there and bring it here and there. And the garment district went out of. Thing is, we don't know the garment district like years ago. They
Right.
don't have that anymore. And most of the people that made fabric and so, they found it was cheaper to make it in China and bring it here and just sell it for $15.
So, Sister Stevens, we know that you were married for around 61 years. Did you meet your husband before or after you started working with the telephone?
After. I don't know, it was just a haphazard meeting because I roomed with a cousin of his. It was three of us young ladies on 111th Street right here in Queens. And he fell in love with me.
Oh, kind of like love at first sight, kind of.
It was with him.
Okay, I can understand that.
Wait, the cousin fell in love with you? Oh, Brother Stevens. Oh.
For first time, I can't even remember seeing him, but I
saw
couldn't get
you.
rid of him.
But he saw you, huh?
Oh, you tried to get rid of him at first? Didn't work.
And he lived in the Bronx.
Oh, so when you say you went to St. Croix and then you came back here to America, so you were in Queens all along?
Since I came back from St. Croix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you say he saw you and fell in love with you. So what did you do to try and get rid of him?
embarrass him.
Oh no,
but
poor
he
Brother
didn't.
Stevens.
He didn't fall for it.
She was too in love to see that. Now I believe when they say love is blind.
It was
And love covers a multitude of sins.
with him.
Okay, so when did you decide that you're going to give him a try?
Well, 5 years after I knew him for 5 years before we were married.
So he pursued you for 5 years?
Before.
But you had become friends, so it wasn't
Yes.
just negative pressure all the time.
No,
It was after a while you kind of got
but I used to embarrass him because I worked early in the morning and sometimes, and he loved music. As you know, that was his life. So he either had to play at a concert or go to rehearsal. He'd come by late at night. I'm sorry.
Okay.
One thing I remember him saying is that the first time he, I don't know if he went to your house or wherever, but it was a date, and he said that while he was walking on the road, he saw some dandelions or something like
Yes,
that, and
but-
he picked them.
Yes, he picked the lion thing, bring it, and say, hey, I ain't that desperate.
So he brought you dandelions, and those are the same little yellow ones that we see on the roadside, right? Oh no. So how did you take that? You know, most people give somebody a rose or, roses or,
That's all he had.
all he had.
I didn't
But
like
what did you say to him? I mean,
Yeah,
what was your
yeah.
response when he
To the
handed you
dandelions.
What's that for? What's that mean? And he just said, for you.
When you met him, like when you started dating, how long after did you get married?
I said, we knew for 5 years.
Also after the 5 years, that's when you got married?
In between, no, he came with that. I had my own apartment then. See, before I was sharing a room and with two other friends, and I had my own apartment.
What was he doing then? What kind of job was he working then?
Music was his
it was
life.
just music. So he
Yes,
didn't
that
have
was-
another job.
That was his life.
So where did he play? Did he play like a,
All over, because different orchestras and whatnot.
But what did you feel about that? Did it pay him well? I mean,
I wasn't concerned because he didn't bother me. I did what I want and
so
worked.
you didn't discourage him, but you encouraged him.
Yeah, that's your life. But what tickled me was the day he asked me could he bring something because he lived with his family,
Okay.
and they had a falling out, and they told him he'd have to move out, but they gypped him. They took his money because when he was in the service, his money went home, and they bought houses and whatnot off his money. But
so he didn't get anything from his earnings?
no, they had their home. But then he asked me, could he bring that? That tickled me. He leave something in my apartment, and because he had no place to go.
Also, he was moving in slowly.
He was trying to. No.
So where did he go?
We got married.
Oh no.
No, that would kill
Yeah.
Viola.
Yeah, so you didn't want him to move in anything unless you were married.
That's right.
Okay.
Because the woman that raised me, that would kill her. Because she was very
Yeah.
strict and very, no. She was too kind, too into her religion and her belief. And no, I wouldn't do that to her.
So you said, no, the only way you can bring something here to my house is if you marry me.
That's right. If I'm Mrs. Stevens,
Oh, you were tough. You were tough.
nothing of yours
But
comes in
maybe
here.
our brother Stevens was smarter than we thought.
That's right.
Maybe it was him that knew that you would say that.
Yeah, because all I can think of is Viola,
Yeah.
my adopted mother. And
Yeah,
she,
yeah.
no.
What was married life like for you? Did you enjoy married life? Like when you just got married, did
It
you?
was nice to have a companion and whatnot, because after I wanted to get on my own, because I looked at it this way. Viola was very good to me, very kind, but she worked for a church, and she's getting old. Anything happens to her, what am I, I have nothing, so I have to get up and get myself going. So I think I was in my early 20s when I started working and got my own place and whatnot.
So how long after you got married did you live in this house here?
I've been living here now 56 years.
Oh, so it wasn't too long, of like
So
10 years.
you were married for how long before you?
5 years
5 years.
before I
Okay.
moved here.
Okay.
And then I had to make the move. Say, why don't we buy a house? He said, with what? Those were his words. With what? I said, with the money I'm spending every day. Instead of spending it, I put it on the
House.
That's right.
So back in those days, was it really hard to get a mortgage?